Hey guys, welcome. Welcome aboard if you're brand new. Welcome back if you are not, and welcome home if that fits for you. Today we want to talk about 2024, what's coming in 2024 for you. If you are a Gemini, if you have Gemini Sun, Moon, or Rising, if you have maybe even a Gemini Venus, or if you love or care about someone who is a Gemini. And the bottom line is that I am all for that cross-watcher situation. I think that the more information we have, especially energetically, the better off we are. So we're going to talk about the theme for you for this year. We're going to talk about your blessings. We're going to talk about some awarenesses. We will look at, wow, this is the one that came first, so that's the one you get. I love that, my little Gemini friends. We're going to talk about cards for each quarter, and then at the very end, we will pull a card for the unknown, which is a little bit of insight, maybe something that you didn't know, or some confirmation for some things that are coming your way. Let's talk a little bit about the astrology for you, my third sign friends. So this year, your season starts on May the 21st. You have a new moon on June the 6th. You have a full moon on December the 14th. Venus is in your sign starting on the 24th of May. And Mars is in your sign starting on the 4th of September. Jupiter pops into your sign in May as well. I think that like the 27th of May, and then retrogrades. Yeah, retrogrades in October for you guys. So that's a pretty healthy split of energy. Yeah, you guys will be, well, we don't have to talk about that. You'll be trining a pretty big new moon this year, but that's okay. We'll talk about that when we get there, right? For now, we're just gonna keep pulling these cards. So you have started with a theme of laughing at your demons. I love this, mostly because I have a lot of Geminis or people with Gemini energy in my life who I absolutely love. And most of them take those demons a little bit too seriously. Let's be real. You know, part of the danger of Gemini energy, you know, you guys are the primary air sign. And so what happens for Gemini energy is that you get to witness every possibility, every potential. And sometimes you get caught up in the overthinking, right? I think it's fair enough to say that's ubiquitous for most Geminis that I know. And the bottom line is that you take your imaginations so seriously that you get stuck, right? Because of the power of your imaginations, it becomes hard for you to overlook a thing that you can imagine as a thing that is just in your imagination. That line between real and imagined not only comes into your life sometimes and creates problems, but it creates catastrophic problems. So I love it that your blessing here is trusting your intuition. My life is truly guided. Well, that's true. And as long as you can stop and witness the difference between truly guided and being overshadowed. And the key here, I want to really make a distinction when it comes to laughing at your demons. Every demon that you're laughing at lives inside your head, right? And so if your life is truly guided, then there's no need to witness anything as a demon, just an unhealed part of yourself, right? And so you also have your awareness of as Pluto, the energy of the planet Pluto, which is lovely, right? This is about transformation. This is about that deep energy of, let's call it persistent requirement. Pluto does not like to allow us to put anything down that we need to address or look at. So there's no tucking anything under the rug with Pluto. Pluto simply says, well, guess what? This is what we're doing now. This is what's here. This is what's presenting. And Pluto will just simply keep handing it to you in a different form if necessary until you manage it. So this is really all about self-management this year, my Gemini friends, which is great because we're talking about self-management as the management of your own inner space, right? These are all inner space kinds of things. Laughing at your demons, that's doing your inner work, your shadow work, trusting your intuition, accepting the fact that your life is truly guided. That's inner work. Pluto work is inner work. And the best part about it is all of these things create your outer environment because they are your inner environment. And so if you want to shift or change focus in your external reality, my Gemini friends, it is all about really witnessing the power of your imagination as being that power of your inner space. That's like the tapestry, the let's call it the whiteboard, right? That's the whiteboard upon which you are writing the story of all of these things. And so if you know that your energy is that of a super powerful manifester, then you already know how to manage your experience, and that is to manage here. Now, you can't mind your mind with your mind. It doesn't work. Mindset is not enough. Positive thinking is not enough. All of those things are beautiful tools, but you have to do the work that underlies them, right? You have to really take apart the belief structures, the creations, the traumas. You have to do that healing work in order to clean your slate, in order to erase all the things that are written on your whiteboard that might be keeping you in this cycle. And let's be real, Gemini friends. For Geminis, that's a really real cycle. So this inner space working is beautiful for you guys this year. It feels like that's a beautiful theme, especially as you have Jupiter moving into your sign. In the middle of that second quarter, Venus will be there. You've got that new moon, and that is in the middle of your season. So you have a lot of action during the time when your energy will be at its height. So I think that's a beautiful thing, right? You have a lot of potency and depth charge power in order to get somewhere. So let's look at what we have here. So for the first quarter, you have the Page of Wands, the Nine of Cups, and the Six of Pentacles, right? So this is actually really lovely energy for your first quarter. This talks about the way that you really want to move through the world and how you feel very secure and very stable, not just in your emotional state, but in the state of your resourceness, right? In being in that reciprocity, in really being in control of your emotional state, and perhaps feeling a little bit impulsive, right? But that's okay. Sometimes we have to find a boundary by testing a boundary, and there's nothing wrong with that. As long as it feels good, you're going to be okay in the role of either teacher or student, right? And so that first quarter might be spent really in exploration and kind of the word I would like to use is exploration, discovery, right? The way that you're shifting and changing your own emotional state, the way that you're kind of toying with, playing with your resources, the way that you're maybe even learning some new manifestation techniques in that first quarter, I think would be a great thing, because you're going to have not just your depth charge at your disposal, but you're going to have your higher elements at your disposal as well, right? And so you might play a hunch or take a few risks, and they may pay off really well in that first quarter, which is, if that feels interesting to me, right? That's definitely a specific message for a few of you who might be tending toward gambly energy. If you're that person, and by gosh, if you can't afford to lose it, please don't wager it ever. But I have a feeling that you would break even, right? So trust your hunches. Trust your hunches in that first quarter, really. Yeah, first quarter, you might feel like you're charmed, and that's okay. Now let's talk about the second quarter. This is where things start to kind of amplify for you. You've got the Queen of Swords, Judgment, and the Nine of Swords. So all of these lessons, right, could serve to, I want to say, bite you. They could come back to haunt you in that second quarter. Again, we're talking about, this is your, the sun will be in Gemini, right? You have a new moon in June. Venus will be in your sign. And so all of these things really ask you, what have I been doing, right, for this last quarter of my life? Have I been creating something beautiful, or have I just been playing at life, right? There's a coming to terms with a loss, right? And here's the deal. This might be that you're doing this inner space work and you come upon a trauma or a moment in your history that has to be managed in order for you to keep this up, right? That feels a little bit more accurate for me, by the way, intuitively. So you might hit a point in therapy, or you might have a revelation or an awareness. It might, I always tell my own clients, it might be triggered by a song on the radio. You might have a dream that brings something back to you, that circles a lesson back, and that loop then presents and must be dealt with, right? Because it's something that if you don't deal with it is going to really be pervasive and invasive, actually, in your life. But here's the thing. You have the sword of truth, my Gemini friends. And again, we talked about getting stuck in your imagination. Trust yourself, right? We're trusting our hunches here. Trust yourself when it comes to your healing, right? Trust yourself as you can be then allowed to deepen your creation of home, right? That's where we're talking about what home tastes like, smells like, looks like, feels like. And this is a self-reflexive. Only you can create that, right? You've already learned how to listen to your own intuition. You're doing that in that first quarter. This is a deepening. This is a trust that intuition when it comes to your healing, when it comes to that next level trauma healing, when it comes to that next level expression, when it comes to really unwinding those patterns of behavior or thoughts or beliefs, right? This is what that Nine of Swords represents, those patterns of belief and thought that keep you awake in the middle of the night, that keep you in that spiral of anxiety. And how can you release them? You have all of the tools to do it. So it's just about deciding, this is the moment when I'm going to dig those things up. And what I'm going to learn to do is make friends with all of the corners of my psyche, even the ones that scare me. Even the ones that scare me, perhaps especially the ones that scare me. I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to move over into the third quarter as well. So you have the middle half of this year really deep in this work. You have Pluto here. You don't have Pluto here for no reason. Okay, so the Knight of Swords is these revelations are going to be off and running. It's literally going to be game on for your healing journey in the middle of this year. Your intuition, again, is going to be super, super high, right? Keep this gamified sense of knowing where to look, knowing what to do, knowing where to say, that's it. That's that's where I'm practicing right now, right? Whatever that is, you're going to have it. You're going to be so strongly guided in the middle of this year that every single time you feel like you have to make a choice and you don't know exactly where to choose, if you fall back into your intuition, you're going to know exactly how to move. You're going to know exactly where to go, and you're going to fully trust where it's leading you every single time. So this healing journey in the middle of this year is going to be completely guided, and you can always come back to this knowledge, this awareness, and most importantly, this experience, right? Because you're going to trust your own experience more than your imagination, even as that Gemini energy wants to inflate and conflate your own beliefs and thoughts and ideas. You already have seen what you can do when you trust your gut instead of your brain. Trust your gut here. You're going to get a lot further, a lot faster, right? So in this middle section of the year, really dig in, because it's only going to serve to catapult you to that next level, right? And so when we look at the fourth quarter, here, you have the Six of Cups, right? You have the King of Pentacles and the Emperor. This is such grounded energy. This is such beautiful and deep energy, right? So just as buoyant as this first quarter is how grounded and deep this last quarter is for you guys. This brings you right back to the concept of unconditional love that is required as a result of this self-worth work, right? This takes you through all of these tumultuous, upturned and overturned ideas right back here to this place of, this is who I was before I ever learned how to be hurt. This is who I was before anything ever happened to me that was a trauma, right? I have learned how to remember it. I have learned how to stand firm upon this knowledge, and now I'm going to build what comes next, right? So you're going to really be on fire in the first quarter of this year, and you can have a very deeply introspective, and I want to say, like, this work is going to be a lot of work, and in each moment it might feel like a lot, but it's going to take you somewhere that is so worthwhile. And that's what I want you to hold on to in these moments in the middle of the year when you feel like you're lost, when you feel like you don't know which way to go. Just keep coming back to your center. Keep coming back to what it feels like to trust your intuition. Keep coming back to what it feels like to understand that you are your own homing beacon in every moment, and understanding that that's what's coming for you through all this work. And it's going to be a natural goal. And when you get there, you're going to be like, oh yeah, that's amazing, right? My life is truly guided. Holy cow. And then you'll look back and laugh at your demons that were not your demons at all, right? That were your friends helping point you in the right directions so that you could progress and move and get where you need to go. Whew, what a beautiful journey, my Gemini friends. Oh, look at that. Well, so you get Healing the Heart, which I believe is some pretty amazing confirmation. Don't you think so? Let's look at your key concepts. Healing, making amends, the willingness to release past pain, being responsible and accountable, taking the time to get healthy, renewal and rebirth after suffering, right? So whatever you have to do to look back in your past and find all the damage, right? And it's going to present itself. You're not going to have to go looking for it. It's literally going to come and find you. These opportunities are going to show up. And if you take the opportunity to do the work, right, to really allow yourself to dive in to what you need to dive into and trust that it's going to be healing, right, that you're always going to be reciprocally supported at every given moment, right? You don't have these Six of Pentacles and Six of Cups on the corner for nothing, right? This is about reciprocity. This is about how you get back to where you were, how you can recreate what you need to recreate by simply doing the work of managing yourself in the present during this time of this year when you're just being asked to dive, right? And the question is, did you ever really believe that it was air that you were breathing? Did you? Well, maybe you did. I don't know. But you have such potential to end this year so powerfully as long as you're willing to engage in this work in the middle section of this year. Keep making those decisions based on your heart, based on your soul, right? And heal what needs to be healed, because guess what? These are your pillars. This is just your vehicle to get there more deeply. Wow. Yeah, you can do it, Gemini. I don't even feel the need to ask for clarification on anything here. I don't think that's necessary. I think you probably already know what your work might surround, and if you don't, guess what? It's going to show up for you. So just keep coming back, right? Keep coming back to your inner space and trust that your inner space knows exactly what you need. Because guess what? Your life is already truly guided. And your depths are already known to you. They're not your demons, right? They're your directionals. So whatever you have to do, you just keep doing it. Understanding that this feeling that you move through the first quarter with is going to amplify so widely and deeply through the last quarter as you do this work. Woo, it's going to be big. I can't wait. I can't wait. Yeah, Gemini friends, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button so that you can come back and fill me in on your growth, your evolution, and your details. I can't wait to hear it. I want to know how 2024 goes for you. And that way you can come back and check in with me and hear what else we've got to say, right? So be blessed. Thanks for being here. And I will see you soon. Big blessings.